So I walked into Campbell Wrestling Room years ago in 2010. And there's about 60 kids sitting on the mat. And I'll be honest, man, I'm scared to death because this was my first time looking at it from a perspective where I wanted to train athletes, wrestlers, when I'd only really done MMA fighters and jiu-jitsu guys, things like that, adults that were playing at a very different level, right? So my goal, and I made a commitment to myself, that I was going to create more champions in this group than anybody else with what it is that I was doing. So I stood in front of them and I walked in there like this. Hey guys, who in here wants to win? Wants to win OIAs, which is like regionals or districts? Raise your hand. Everyone raise their hand. And I was like, okay, fine. So who in here wants to win states? And those kids raise their hand, but way less kids actually raise their hands than the ones who actually raise their hands to win Westerns and OIAs. And I was like, okay, so all of the kids that want to win states, I want you to look around. You guys are the ones I'm talking to. I'm not talking to the kids who just want to be average or mediocre or do the thing that they feel like is comfortable. I want to talk to the kids who want to be the best, who want to win states. That's you. Now, all the kids who raise your hand for that, I want you to look around. What makes you think that the person who raised their hand to win states is also going to let you win that? And all those kids kind of stayed quiet. Because for the first time, somebody had them consider that no one's just going to let you take that spot. You're going to have to work for it. So I was like, okay, so all of those people, so let's say this. The few that are going to win and take states are going to do something different. Are you willing to do something different? They don't have to let you win. Are you willing to make them earn that spot? Just like you're willing to make yourself earn that spot. And I was like, I'm going to take 20 athletes in this room. And I personally am going to make sure that each one of you win more than the rest of the kids on this team combined, if you make it. But you have to put in the work. And I took a step back, and the kids were like, holy crap. And I was like, so, who's coming? Who's doing it? Who's committed? Slowly but surely, kids started to raise their hand. Slowly but surely, kids started to raise their hand. Slowly but surely, kids started to raise their hand. And a few kids put their hands down. And I was like, man, that's good. All of you kids who put your hand down, I need you to know where you're willing to draw the line for your ability to succeed. And they were okay with that. And the other kids kept coming. And before you know it, I had 20 kids. 20 committed kids. And I was like, here's the deal. Here's the date we're going to start. Here's what's required of you. Here's the form I need you to take to your parents. This is a no excuse group. But I promise you, if you do this, you will be in the top spots. You will take states if you're committed to do the work. You guys will win more than the rest of the kids on this team combined. And I said that in front of them. I wasn't trying to disrespect the other kids, but I'm so committed to the people who are committed because I want to win like that. Now, these kids busted ass. They lost. They won. They trained more than the other kids. They put in more time. They still did their schoolwork. They still showed up to extra practices, extra training with me. They did everything required of them. And let me tell you, every one of those kids, every one of them got their hand raised. They were standing on the top spaces of podiums. Every one of them. They all graduated. They all went on to do great things. They all got scholarships in one way or another. Every one of them took a spot in states throughout their time in high school and working together. They were my crew. What made them different from everybody else? They committed to do the work. They committed to do the work. They committed to do the work. Do you get that? Everybody is offered the same opportunity except in the time of choosing yourself, you have to be so committed to the choice that you make about yourself and then committed to the choice to put in all of the work required of you to succeed at that level. See, that's where people fail. So let me express that to you. You can also be like these kids. You can also be like these athletes. You can also be like any fighters that we've had. You can also be like all the male entrepreneurs that's come to me to succeed and win in their life. But here was the difference in them. Major difference. They chose themselves. They chose to commit to put in the work no matter how long it took. And here's the caveat to that. They chose to do the work no matter how long it took with no guarantees in themselves that they were going to win. They were just so committed to be at the top. They were just so committed. Will you do that? So for guys like us, I like to say, look, are you committed to let's say you just want to have a better marriage. Let's say you want to be better connected with your wife as a man. Let's say you want to be a better dad. Are you committed to put in the work to do that? You see, unfortunately, guys think that there's some dress right, dress pecking order to doing that, but it's a constant work every day. To wake up early, to work in yourself, to show up powerfully for your family. Before you can give to them, you got to put into yourself. You got to do the work for you. Train yourself every day to be who you have to be, and then you implement yourself with your wife, with your kids, in your house. You lead, you take responsibility. We show up so committed to the end game of being who we have to be for them. That's how you become a champion in your life. If it's your business, you commit to putting in the work. You commit to being the best. Be the best. You don't shit on that. That's so important. You commit to being the best speaker, the best person in conversion and sales. You commit to doing the best customer service. You commit to providing the best thing that you can for everybody that you are called to lead, and you hold that standard for your people so they know what it looks like in you. And then they begin to hold that standard for themselves. They begin to expect it. All of the people that work with you, hold that standard that you hold for yourself and themselves, because they know it's expected in you. It's expected of them if they're going to work with you, and they show up because you make the world a better place. That, my friend, is commitment. That's the kids that are raising their hand and saying, I want to be the best. I want to win states. I want to win at the highest level in my field. Aside from what everybody else is doing, I'm going to play the game to win, and I'm going to bet on myself. That's what they did. Is that what you're doing? That level of commitment is what separates the top people on the planet. If I can share with you one thing about the champion's way to winning, is that we're real about where we are, and we get 100% committed about the actions required of us, and we show up every day, and we look for the result that we're looking for. We look for the result that we're trying to get. If we're not close to it, then we course correct. We fix it. We get clear again on where we are, who we're being, who we're not being. We take the actions required, and then we look at the result that we're getting, and we course correct. And you know what? Every time, man, I swear to you, you can bet on this. You're going to look around at your life, whether it's 1 year, 2 years, 1 month, 3 months, 5 months, in your marriage, in your business, in your relationship, in your body, in your spiritual connection, in your purpose, to what it is that you're living. And you're going to look and you know what? I did it. I made it. I am the champion of my life. I'm leading the space. I'm creating what I want, and I did this. No one can take this from me. Man, if you do that, you are just like the kids that raised their hand on that one day when I said, look, I'm taking 20 athletes out of you 60. Who wants it? Who's willing to put in the work to be the champion that you know that you're supposed to be? Everybody thinks that they want it until it's required of them to choose themselves and make that decision, and they can change the world. But you see, let me put that in perspective. They changed their world, and the world around them has to change and get better because they become the standard. Will you live that for yours? Make that decision today. Choose yourself. Choose you're going to be the best. Start working on it. Put in the work. And never quit. Never look back. You don't have to look around at the people who didn't want to raise their hand and play the game with you. They will rise up to your level of play. They have to. Or they're going to go away. And that's fine. Because if they don't go away and they're still in your circle, then they were probably keeping you down. And you didn't see it. It's okay to let them go. The world needs you to lead. I need you to lead. You need you to lead. Start doing that today.